Alright guys, welcome back to another TCG live video. So, the new set, NIHIL Zero, is going to be released on the 27th of March. So in a couple of weeks, and I thought we were going to take a look in this video and maybe try and do some sort of breakdown of some of the cards. Let's look at some of the cards and see how viable they are, and how they might switch up the next meta. Now, the set, for anyone who doesn't know this, the NIHIL Zero is basically it's part, or it will be included in the Mega Evolution Perfect Order expansion, apparently, as far as I'm aware. It will bring, like, for example, cards like Mega Zygarde. Where is it? It's going to be down there somewhere. There it is. So yeah, that's going to be one of those cards which is in here. So yeah, let's talk about a few of these cards. Now, obviously, the thing is, I couldn't find it anywhere in English language, so it's kind of tough finding it. Let's quickly make this a bit bigger, like so. I think this is good, right? All right, so let's start with the first one. Now, we are starting here on the top with Spinarak, nothing too crazy. Basic Pokemon, 60 HP, 10 damage. Is able to cause your opponent's Pokemon not to be able to retreat. This can be, under specific circumstances, very nice. Ariados here is also not too bad. Is able to attack for 1 energy, right? And is doing 50 damage. However, it's able to poison your opponent. So it's not too bad considering, right? I mean, there is worse. When we go further, Shaman right here. Shaman has the first attack, which is basically allowing you to choose one of your benched Pokemon and heal 30 damage from that Pokemon. The second attack is initially just doing 30 damage. So it's like a small bench healer, probably like a filler, unless you want to have a specific kind of theme built around it, but I highly doubt it anyways. Then we have Sneevy, 30 damage, nothing too spectacular. We have Servine, again, nothing too spectacular, 40 damage, that's it. Then we have Superior, very interesting. Now, the first attack, 20 times. This attack apparently does 20 damage for each of your benched Pokemon. So there is a massive 100 damage potential. If you combine this with Area Sub-Zero, for example, let's just talk hypothetically, you could be dropping 100 damage on it with a single energy, right? No, wait, Sub-Zero is doing 8 spots, it's doing 10 spots, right? Anyways, you're gonna have some damage potential with this, but yeah, I'm not too sure about it. The second attack, 100 plus. If there is any Pokemon if there is any X Pokemon in your discard pile, this attack does 150 damage more, bro. 250 damage potential. It isn't too bad. This right there isn't really that bad. Like, obviously, I know how it is playing with meta decks and everything, but I do like these kind of decks which are like away from the meta, let's say. But yeah, that's another interesting one. Let's carry on. Then we have what's this one called? Let me quickly translate it. All right, so the next one we have Scatterbug. Again, 20 damage, nothing too crazy. Then we have, obviously, the stage 1 Spooper. I do believe that's how you pronounce the name. We're going to be able to flip a coin with this one. If it's heads during your opponent's turn, we're going to prevent all damage done to this Pokemon. So I do not really like coin flips, right? That's one of those things I could never like. But yeah, that's just the way it is. Then we have Vivillon. Now, it has an ability translated to be Great Wings. Once during your turn, you may discard any number of basic energy cards from your hand. For each card you discarded this way, you're going to be able to heal 40 damage from your Pokemon. Now, it doesn't specify if it's like one Pokemon or if it's every Pokemon. I do assume it's only going to be one Pokemon. But yeah, this is it. And the attack 60 base damage. If you have a stadium in total, it's going to do 60 more. So essentially 120 damage. Not Something you probably won't be playing, but yeah, again, just for informational purposes. Then we're running onto Rowlet. Rowlet is able to search the deck for one basic Pokemon to put it on our bench, which is quite handy. And the second attack is doing 30 damage. The second one, stage 1 here is Dartrix, is able to do 20 damage. And the second attack is going to be able to do 90 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Interestingly enough, this one is regardless of whether it's on the bench or in the active position. So this can be nice if you're setting it up for the big bad boss, which is Decidueye IEX. Now, 320 HP, very, very tanky, to be honest, considering. Now, he's definitely the main card, obviously, of the entire grass theme we have going on in this deck. The ability called Sniper Eye, apparently translated. Once during your turn, you may attach a grass energy from your hand to this Pokemon. Essentially like a built-in acceleration. Very nice. Now this one here I can already see working very well. On top of that, he does for four energies, he does 204. So you can combine this either with Ogerpon, if it's not G. I'm not sure. Was Ogerpon G? No, Ogerpon isn't G. Or Meganium. Meganium is able to multiply the energy. So if you have 2 energy attached, it basically becomes 4. Running this with Bugcatcher and Viridian Forest is probably going to be the way you want to play this. This is going to be very interesting. 240 damage potential is also very, very nice. Like extremely nice. The thing is as well, after you attack with this attack, it says here that you discard an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. Now, it's a nice to have ability, right? I do feel like I would have liked him to have more like an attack which is able to attack anyone on the field. That would have been very much broken. But yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it as it is. So yeah, let's carry on down to fire. We only have 5 fire Pokemon in this deck. Alright, so then we are running here with Fletchinder, I believe that's how you pronounce the name. I do apologize if I mispronounce some of these names. I'm German, so in German, obviously, the pronunciation is somewhat different. Fletchinder, very interesting. Stage 1, obviously, evolves from Fletchling. Fletchling doesn't seem to be in this set. So yeah, that's that. That's unless this set misses some of the cards, but yeah. The first attack, 60 damage, 2 energy, nothing too spectacular. And then we have Talonflame. Now this seems very interesting. 150 HP. Stage 2. The ability is nice. Sky Hunt. Once during your turn, you're going to be able to flip a coin. If heads, look at your opponent's hand and discard 1 card from it. Now this right there is going to play in very nicely with a few already existing combinations, which actually get rid of the cards from your hand of your opponent. So yeah, that's going to be nice. And the attack here is not too bad as well, considering 2 energies, 110 attack. Not too bad, not too bad. Then we're having here Salandit, I believe that's how you spell it. 20 damage, nothing spectacular. However, the evolution, Salazzle EX, if that's how you pronounce it. The ability here, or the first attack, is essentially you're going to be able to search your deck for 2 cards and put them in your hand, then shuffle your deck. This is extremely strong, considering this will bring a lot of consistency if it's like once per turn being usable. That's very nice, actually. The second attack, 100 base damage. If your opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned, you can knock it out instantly. Bro, I'm trying to remember, is there any engines currently out? Do let me know down below in the comment sections if you're on this. Is there any engines currently that talk about that allow you to poison your opponent's Pokemon immediately? That would be goated. That would be very much goated. So yeah, that's that. And then last but not least, on the fire section, we have Turtonator. Its ability, if this Pokemon is in the active position and is damaged by an opponent's attack, put 8 damage counter on the attacking Pokemon. So basically 80 damage retaliation. Pretty solid, considering 3 energies, it needs to do 80 damage. You can flip a coin. If heads, you do 160 damage. So yeah, not really as usable as an attacker, but this is nice. The ability is very, very, very good, actually. Okay, so then here, the water section. Now this right there, ladies and gentlemen, this right here, Dugong. As often as you like, during your turn, you may move a water energy from one of your bench Pokemon to your active Pokemon, period. I'm loving this. This right there, I'm loving it. That's basically, what is it called? Espinodon? No, wait, Baxcalibur. Baxcalibur, didn't it have a similar ability or the same as far as I remember? The good old days were used to play it with the water cat. Baojian is the German name anyways. Yeah, those were good combinations. So yeah, that's Dugong. Dugong is going to be coming in very handy, considering we're also getting Mega Starmie EX. Now this one's nice. Doesn't look as creepy as in the game, but yeah, it looks awesome. Probably one of the main highlight cards in this entire set, actually. 120 damage, the first attack. This attack also does 50 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon, so you're doing additional damage there. The second attack, 210 damage. This attack damage is not affected by your opponent's active Pokemon effects. So essentially, if the opponent has resistance or anything, it doesn't really matter. You're gonna do 210 damage regardless. So yeah, Mega Starmie. Actually curious to see if that's going to be played a lot. Then we obviously have the Auroros. Auroros, I believe is the spelling of the name. Wait, I could be wrong. Or is it Amagaga? No, I'm not sure. Anyways, doesn't really matter. If this Pokemon has any water energy attached, your opponent's Pokemon do 50 less damage. So it's a flat damage reduction. Kind of me, considering you're probably never really going to use this. Now let's actually look at the attack. Okay, 150 damage. The attack is essentially preventing your opponent's defending Pokemon from attacking. So you lock in your opponent in place, he cannot retaliate. Unfortunately, this can be overwritten if the opponent switches out his Pokemon. So yeah, that's going to be that, most likely. But still nice, considering if you could pair this as well with Dugong, actually. So yeah, that's that. And then last but not least, we have Volcanion. Volcanion is the name, I think. 50 damage, first attack, second attack, 90 times. We're going to flip a coin. For each energy attached to this Pokemon, this attack does 90 damage for each head. So yeah, also somewhat designed to be run alongside Dugong probably. Dugong's ability is going to load him up if you're going to play this this kind of combination. That's obviously the thing you gotta consider if you want to play this. So it would have a high damage potential. However, again, you're running a lot of coin flips, so you could potentially ramp it up with like 6 energies and only flip like 2 heads, which yeah can go sideways. But you're doing 180 damage with 2 heads. 3 heads, you're doing 270 damage. So you have a lot of damage potential, right? And it's a basic Pokemon, and it only needs 3 energy. So actually not too bad. Very good, actually. Let's carry on to the next section. So here we're looking obviously at some of the electric Pokemons here. Not many as well, only 4 in this specific set. Obviously we have Shinx, we have Luxio, and then we have Luxray. Luxray seems to be, well, basically, what's it called? Luxio is interesting. It has an ability. If this Pokemon is on your bench, your active Pokemon's attack do more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So it doesn't say, I don't see any numbers here. The AI isn't able to translate this probably, but it's most likely going to be 20 extra damage, maybe. I don't know. We'll see how this one goes. So this is that. And then obviously we have the final stage, the stage 2. First attack 70 times. So this attack does 70 damage for each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. That's huge. That is huge. For each of your opponent's benched Pokemon, huh? That's a lot of damage we're going to be able to do here. Second attack is doing 200 straight. We have to discard 2 energy. So yeah, that's that. Then we have Dedenne. Loving the design of this card. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Attach any basic energy you find there to your Pokemon in any way you like. Shuffle the other cards back in the deck. So the first attack is actually pretty nice. Very good energy acceleration. And the second one essentially is going to be able to paralyze your opponent if you flip a coin and win the coin flip. So yeah, that's that. Then we have we do have Clefairy. which allows you to switch your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active Pokemon in first attack, and the second one is doing 30 damage base. And then we have Mega Clarify. Now, Mega Clefable EX, bro, the names. Apparently one of the major cards of this set, by the looks of it. It has an interesting ability. If this Pokemon is in the active spot, your opponent's Pokemon cannot affect your benched Pokemon with attacks or abilities. Huh, that's nice. So, essentially safeguarding your Pokemon from anything like Monkidori, Frostlass, abilities and stuff like that. So yeah, that's big. That is big. This right here is very big. I can see this being very dominant. Now, it does require to be in the active position, so that's one of the things you have to take into consideration. But nevertheless, very good card. The second attack is called Shooting Moon. 120 base damage. If you have Psychic Energy attached, this attack does 40 more damage for each Psychic Energy attached to this Pokemon. Unfortunately, Gardevoir EX is moving away. This would have probably be the combination with Gardevoir. Now, you can, however, you're obviously doing base already 200, since you're always going to run this with a Psychic Energy. So, basically 200 damage guaranteed for 2 energy. Not too bad. So this seems to be the most interesting card for me personally until now, because I do like Psychic Pokemon. Now we have a 320 HP tank. We could ramp this up with like something like Hero's Cape to 420. We have a bench protection ability. We have scaling damage. I mean, we have everything we want. This seems to be very strong. So let's move on. We do have a Mawile here. This one here, basically 2 energies, 60 times. We have to discard up to 2 energy cards from your hand. This attack does 60 damage for each card discarded this way. So we're essentially 180 damage. No, wait. We're doing 120 damage maximum here. I mean, yeah, probably never going to get used in that way. But anyways, Esper. Heal 20 damage from this Pokemon. First attack, second attack, 10 damage. Nothing too crazy. If we go one further, however, Mystic, the first attack, your opponent's active Pokemon becomes confused. The second attack, this attack does 30 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So, depending on your matchup, this could deal a lot of damage, but I highly doubt that this will be in any form competitively being used. Let's carry on. We do have obviously Spritzy. I do believe the name is Parfy, is a German name, by the way. 30 damage you're going to be able to heal, and the second attack does 10 damage. Nothing too interesting. However, the evolution seems interesting. Aromatisse. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards and put them into your hand. So the ability here is awesome. The ability is very, very good. Solid energy search support Pokemon. That's period. Like, very good. And the attack does 50 damage, heals 30 damage from this Pokemon. Yeah, probably never going to get used. But yeah, that's that. Alright, let's carry on. The next batch, obviously, Nosepass Evolution. Yeah, what can I say? 60 damage base, 260 damage. Discard 3 energy from this Pokemon. Now, this right here could work very well with something like Slowking, right? Probably some way of incorporating it in there, since you're going to be able to utilize its ability, but nothing too crazy. I mean, 4 energies is difficult to deal with. And then we have, obviously, Hippopotas, 100 HP base. First attack, 10 damage. During your opponent's next turn, if the defending Pokemon tries to attack, your opponent flips a coin. If tails, the attack does nothing. Nothing too interesting, to be honest. The stage 1 Hippowdon, if there is a stadium card in play, you're going to be able to discard the stadium. So the effect is nice. However, the energy doesn't make it worthwhile. So yeah, this is probably not something that's going to get played a lot, since this second attack does only 130 HP damage and doesn't have any ability. Let's carry on. Landros. Also, again, nothing too interesting. The first attack, you're going to be able to discard 1 energy from this Pokemon in order to deal 50 damage. No, that's the second attack. The first one does 50 damage. The ability here couldn't get translated apparently, but yeah, it seems to be just a straightforward attacker, so nothing too crazy. Let's carry on. Binacle, draw 2 cards. The first attack is actually very nice. The stage 1 evolution, Barbaracle, it's called, has an interesting ability. Once during your turn, you're going to be able to search for a basic fighting energy and attach it to one of your Pokemon and then shuffle your deck. So this is nice. This actually gives a good fighting energy acceleration, which could come in handy for specific decks. I mean, probably fighting type is going to be pretty much Lucario and that's it. Mega Lucario. But yeah, this also seems like a viable, playable Pokemon. Right, then let's carry on. Let's skip right over to this bad boy. Tyrantrum, the Tyrannosaurus itself. If this Pokemon, the ability is nice. If this Pokemon has any fighting energy attached, its maximum HP becomes 350. Bro, we could ramp this up with Hero's Cape to 450. With Bravery Charm, 400 HP, period. Non-EX Pokemon. Very solid. Very, very solid. The second attack, however, the first attack, obviously, 160 damage. However, you're going to damage yourself with 50, right? Very bulky attacker, to be honest. If the ability gets activated, very, very strong. Also very usable, in my opinion. Let's carry on. We do have Havalucha. Yeah, I mean, basically works as a damage counter because the attack here does 30 plus. If any of your opponents, if any of your bench Pokemon have damage counters, this attack does 60 more. So we've got a 90 damage potential. It has 0 retreat cost, so it seems to be very usable, like as a filler in a few decks, right? If we carry on, we're talking about Mega Sigurd, one of the big Mega Pokemon in this set, apparently. The first attack, 200 damage. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks. Okay, not too crazy, to be honest. If we carry on, the second attack, Moonkisser, bro, 5 energies. 5 energies. You're flipping 6 coins. This attack does 150 damage for each head. Bro, 900 damage possible? Bro. I mean, it's gonna be fun trying this thing out in action. I don't think, I don't know what yeah, we need to see. Based on the new set, it's probably going to be like a combination between Barbaracle, like this one here, and this dude, right? That's probably going to be one of those synergies. But yeah, this second attack here is heavy. This is very heavy. Very, very heavy stuff. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Okay, let's carry on. There's not a lot left, so we're going to try and break down every single card in this video, so it is going to be a bit longer. Gengar. Now, finally, we have a new Gengar. Actually, always was a fan of Gengar, probably one of the fan favorites anyways. The ability called Shadow Dimension. Once during your turn, you may move any number of damage counters from your opponent's Pokemon to their other Pokemon in any way you like. Oh, guys, this ability is evil. This is very evil. I mean, this ability can change the course of an entire game. Basically lets you redistribute energy across the opponent's board. Very, very solid busted. Very, very busted. The second attack, Mind Jack, does 30 more damage for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. I mean, it's alright. Like, if he has 5 Pokemon, you're going to do 160 damage. Is usable, definitely. I mean, considering it only costs 1 energy, you probably could build an entire deck around this archetype. Maybe. We'll see. If you carry on, we do have Drapion here. Drapion, 60 damage. Base attack, first attack for 2 energy. Second one, if your opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned, you're doing 170 damage. I mean, yeah, solid attacker, You could run it, but I don't think so that it's ever going to get used. Yevtal EX. This one seems very nice. The first attack, 3 energy. Choose one of your opponent's Pokemon with 50 HP or less remaining. That Pokemon is knocked out, so that's nice. And the second one, 210 damage. During your next turn, this Pokemon cannot use Dark Strike again. So it seems to be like a late game finishing Pokemon, if you're asking me. Like, it can be used, but I don't know. We'll see. If we carry on, Chen-Pao, that's the Pokemon I meant before. The water Pokemon Chen-Pao EX used to be played with Baxcalibur a lot back in the days. Chen-Pao, 120 base HP, 20 damage. First one, after the attack, you're going to switch your Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. Can be used to set up. This can actually come in very handy. If your opponent's, the second one, if your opponent's active Pokemon EX is an EX Pokemon, you're doing 80 damage extra. So you have a 160 damage potential right there, which is not too bad. And then we have one of the other ones, Mega Skarmory EX. Now, this is nice. Seems to be one of the more prominent Pokemon here. The attack, 3 energy. You're discarding all energy attached to this Pokemon. Choose one of your opponent's Pokemon and do 220 damage to it. This damage is not affected by weakness or resistance. Okay. So it's basically a targeted 220 damage snipe anywhere on the board. Period. Very good. Very strong attack. It does have 0 retreat cost. Again, very nice as well. Coming in very nice and handy with the ability of retreating. I'm thinking, Arcaludon? What was he again? Wasn't he J or H? Probably could be something you could play alongside that, or maybe other metal energy or steel type energy ramping up Pokemon. So yeah, that's gonna come in nice and handy as well. There doesn't seem to be anything too crazy here. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, sorry, I had to sneeze a second ago. I mean, AG Slash, yeah, I don't know. 230 damage, 4 energies. You can't attack the next turn. I don't know if I'm liking this. So yeah, probably never going to get played. Then we have Klefki, 30 damage base. Your opponent's active Pokemon cannot use attacks it used during your previous turn. Huh. This can be interesting. Lockdown mechanic can be very interesting, actually. Could be a good counter towards like something like Dragapult or something like that. Yeah, that could be nice. Then we have Rattata and obviously Eradicate. Probably, I don't know. I don't know if I'm ever going to play this. Discard a random card from your opponent's hand. This is the first attack. Okay. Yeah, this, I mean, this could work with Talonflame, actually. It could work. This and Talonflame could actually work together. We'll see, right? The second one, 40 damage for each of your opponent's Pokemon in play. So, a total of 240 damage possible. Bro! 240 damage with Eradicate. I mean, yeah. Yeah, okay. Okay, let's carry on, guys. I mean, I take it back. Obviously, Eradicate seems to be very, very good, actually. We'll see. We'll see. Having 4 of them in your deck, I don't know if that's going to be one of the engines you want to play, but the damage potential is huge. Very big. Now, let's carry on. We're here, Meowth EX. The ability, once during your turn, you may search your deck for a trainer card, reveal it, and put it in your hand. Very strong trainer search ability. Broken. This alone can change the course of games. Very good ability. The attack, 60 damage for free energy. You're only going to play the Pokemon for its ability. You're never really going to attack. I don't even know what the attack does here since the AI isn't able to translate it. Well, yeah, it is what it is. Let's carry on. Snorlax. We do have another one. I do remember the OG Snorlax deck. 160 HP. The attack first one here, Gluttony, one energy required. Flip a coin until you get tails. For each heads, heal 30 damage from this Pokemon. All right. And the second one does 160 damage. So yeah, tanky basic attacker, nothing too spectacular. Let's carry on. This one here, let's go straight to the Digger's Beat, the evolution. The first one, this attack also does 30 damage to each of your own bench Pokemon. Huh. I mean, you can use this early on without having any Pokemon on your field, but very risky. Second attack, 100, probably never going to use it. Earthquake is the first attack, hit your own bench. I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh yeah, there is Fletchling. All right, so it's normal type, not fire type, right? But previously we didn't see it here in the fire section, so yeah, okay, that makes sense. That it's there. All right, then we have what's it called? Furfru. The first attack, or look at your opponent's hand, choose a trainer card you find there. Your opponent shuffles that card into their hand. Another hand destructing card, huh? Could work very well with Talonflame again, and maybe Eradicate. Huh, that could also be an engine here. Right. Very interesting, very interesting. So the next batch here is going to be trainer cards and stuff like that. So yeah, let's take a look at these. This one's here going to be an item card. Energy Spotter. Right. Choose one energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon and move it to another of their Pokemon. Huh. Can be very good for disrupting. It can mess up the energy placement of the opponent. Very interesting card. Let's go to the next one here. This is going to be the Fossil, which basically needed to evolve the Tyranitar. Here's another Fossil for the other one. Then we have Pokepad, right? Look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal any supporter card you find there and put them in your hand. Shuffle the other cards back into your deck. Solid supporter consistency card. Like can be used, definitely. Let's carry on. Mira Regret. That's what it's translated as. The names may vary. Heal 120 damage from one of your Pokemon, then discard 1 energy attached to that Pokemon. Strong healing at the cost of energy. Right, can be done. Then we have here a Pokemon tool, Core Memory. This tool can only be attached to Mega Zygarde, so it's only going to work with this one here. So it's made for that. The ability here, or the effect here, is essentially allowing you to do 350 damage at the cost of discarding all energy attached to this Pokemon. Right. And it costs 4 energy. Huge one-shot attack option. But I do feel like this attack is way better because you're flipping 6 coins, right? But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see how this one plays out to be. That's an interesting card, definitely. All right, and this is the final batch of cards, and we're actually done with the deck, with this set. The first one here, a supporter card, Taragon. The name, again, may slightly change in English after release. We'll see. It allows you to search your deck for up to 4 Pokemon that have a special energy attached. Reveal them and put them into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. Huh. I don't know. I don't know if the translation is here off. No, it's Pokemon with not special energy. It's probably going to be fighting energy because it says here the fighting energy type. All right, probably that. Very situational supporter. Probably there to support obviously something like Zygarde. It depends obviously on the type of deck you're running in it, right? If you look at Zygarde again, let's quickly go there. Since it's basic, it's going to be able to be played straight away. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that one goes. The next one, Buell. I don't know how the name pronounces. The name's also not finalized. After playing this, you're shuffling your hand into your deck, then draw 5 cards. Very solid. Basic shuffle draw support card, similar to many other consistency cards we already have in game. So yeah, that's that. Then we have Maze Encouragement. Attach up to 2 basic energy cards from your hand to one of your stage 2 Pokemon. Huh. And it doesn't matter which energy cards. So that's going to come in handy considering we have like a few options. Like, for example, this bad boy. This could be one of the engines you could be running this on. What else is there? Maybe Luxray. Could also be very interesting. Yeah. So there is a couple of options also from previous Pokemon. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting card right there. Very interesting. Yukari, the next one. Heal 150 damage from one of your psychic Pokemon. Very strong healing support. Very good. This, alongside Mega Clarify, where is it? Alongside this bad boy, could be very interesting. Yeah, the good thing is we're not losing any energy or anything, so it can be used. Definitely viable. Then we have Luminous City Stadium card. Once during each player's turn, that player may search their deck for a basic Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into their hand, then shuffle their deck. Oh, all right, okay, that's nice. Solid Pokemon setup stadium card. It works for both sides, but is nice. All right, and then we have like free energy cards, which are interesting. So obviously they provide one energy for each type, right? Obviously Leaf, Psychic, Fighting energy. And also if attached to a Pokemon, we're going to be able to look at the opponent's hand. Bro, so there is a general theme going on in this set with hand destruction. So we obviously have like Raticate, for example. We have this bad boy. We have Talonflame, which is going to discard a card, cards from the opponent's hands. So a lot of stuff going on. So yeah, that's the entire set. Now, in my opinion, the set overall looks strong. But it's not going to be like, I don't know, format defining. Like it introduces a lot of mechanics like, I don't know, damage counter manipulation, energy manipulation, hand disruption. Nothing new, nothing we didn't already have. However, many cards are either stage 2, like for example, Talonflame, right? Then we have this one here. Then we have this one here. They can struggle, because you have to bring them onto the field and it's difficult. Like it feels more like a support expansion rather than a meta shaping expansion, in my opinion. For me personally, the biggest highlight of the set is probably going to be Mega Zygarde and this bro here. These two are going to be the biggest highlights for me, because Mega Zygarde actually plays very well with Barbaracle, for example. So yeah, that's probably going to be one of those. And also Mega Skarmory X, right? That's also one of those Pokemon that seems very interesting. But apart from that, yeah, I don't know. They look very good as well. Like the artworks look awesome. Actually, down here are the hidden rare cards. So taking a look at these, actually we can see a few nice ones here. Like for example, Mega Starmie. Bro, look at this. It looks awesome. It looks just awesome. Mega Zygarde, there is Mega Clefable. This one looks nice, right? Then we have here Yevtal. There is Mega Skarmory. That's how it's going to look like apparently. Mega Meowth. So a lot of interesting, nice cards in this set, to be honest, right? Like look at this. Mega Starmie. Looks awesome. Yeah. So yeah, that's that. There is rogue potentially. Like in my opinion, Gengar has high potential in this deck. Very good Pokemon, to be honest. Like moves damage counters around the board and does 160 damage total maximum, right? We have Dedenne, which can be useful situationally. Where was it? Bro, where is it again? There is. Can be useful situationally since it has energy acceleration. Right, Barbaracle, again, great card, right? And we have Salazzle EX, can instantly KO an opponent's Pokemon. So these are like interesting cards, obviously, which I definitely see. Also, Meowth EX seems to be very good. Where was it? There, with the trainer searching ability, right? Furfrou, again, and Raticate and Talonflame hand disruption. Yeah, so we have a lot of things going on here. The biggest weaknesses of this set, again, in my opinion, stage 2, a lot of stage 2 Pokemon, a lot of Pokemon need a lot of energy. Like, for example, if you want to run this, you need a lot of energy. Very setup dependent set, in my opinion. I don't know how it's going to perform, in a competitive way, right? But overall, yeah, I don't know. Not again, in my opinion, not a meta-shaping new set, but definitely nice to have. So yeah, I'm gonna conclude it here. Do let me know down below in the comment sections what you think about this set. As always, thanks for tuning in. Take care of yourselves. Until next time.